But before we begin, let's hear it one more time for the Solana crew. Let's go.
Right, what's going on, guys? Nothing slows down here at Star Atlas, so we're just getting everything kicked off. Welcome everybody to the audience. Wow, 566 people. Community continues to grow. Love seeing all the new faces, avatars, icons, and members out there in the community. We're going to be kicking this off shortly here.
Like, you feel the community heartbeat here? Feels good, huh?
Made any what?
You feel the community heartbeat in that beat by Star Savage?
I missed the beat by Star Savage. I was in between calls, but I'm sure it was fantastic. And we have definitely been feeling some very positive energy this week. So that feels really good. I am truly grateful and ecstatic that so many people have had a positive experience with the token launch thus far. So, a big part of our vision is to empower people to empower themselves going into the metaverse. And so, obviously life-changing financial decisions, it's that really feeds into the mission and into the vision of Star Atlas. So we've been getting a ton of praise and positive response and excited people. And, we're excited as well. It was a phenomenal week for us. Everybody's really exhausted. I mean, we've been pulling all-nighters, making sure we can deliver on the timelines that we specified out. And, I think we all were able to take a kind of a deep breath and have a big sigh of relief. But, that lasted for maybe one night, and we all just jumped right back in and continued grinding. So there's still a lot to do here. We know that, and we are continuing just to, work as extensively as possible to continue to build out this vision, to bring the metaverse to you, to bring gaming experiences to you. So it feels good, but we're right back, down in the trenches, heads down and building.
Beautiful. So let's get things started here. Yeah, as Gabby, we can locate Gabby and get him into the room. Santi, if you could help us with that, that'd be amazing. There we go. Amazing. There we go. That was quick on the button.
Gabby,
hey guys. Sick beats.
Welcome, Gabby. Yeah, thank you, man. We got our own DJ Savage here, ripping it on the decks. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's kick things off. So, welcome everyone. This is the Star Atlas Townhall. Co-moderating with me today is our very own community leader, Santiago. Others call him the XP dealer. And we're going to be diving into some deep fireside chat conversations and, of course, our live community questions with Michael, CEO and co-founder of Star Atlas, and Gabby, founder and leader over at Yield Guild Games. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who are new to the Star Atlas metaverse, just want to welcome you. Thank you for joining. For those of you who have been with us and sitting in this space for weeks now, thanks again for joining. Star Atlas is a virtual gaming metaverse. We're emerging from the confluence of state-of-the-art blockchain, real-time graphics, multiplayer video game, and decentralized financial technologies. If you're new, we are building our blockchain technology on the Solana protocol, which establishes a really large, immense, serverless and secured gaming experience. For us, our creatives are building on Unreal Engine 5's Nanite technology, which really enables us to create a cinematic quality of video game visuals and also leveraging non-fungible tokens to obtain and trade assets, in-game assets within Star Atlas, making up what is going to be the future of digital economies. So we're super excited to have you. That was just a brief overview of Star Atlas, to say the least. And yeah, today we're going to be doing a fireside chat with Michael and Gabby, and then we'll jump into the live Q&A. So Michael, why don't you start off with providing us a quick glimpse into this past week, man? It's been insane. We want to know how you feel, how the team feels, and some of the, the experiences that you've had throughout the week?
Pablo, it's been really a blur, to be honest. I mean, it's hard to discern from one day to another, and that actually is true going all the way back to last year when we first conceptualized this. And the whole team has been working incredibly hard, and we have some very, very talented people on the team, and everybody's extremely committed and passionate about what we're doing. And I think it really drives the product that is being released. Everything that you guys are seeing from, the NFT marketplace and the ability to purchase assets like posters, and very soon coming up here, the ability to participate in the Galactic asset offering, and all of the art and creativity and models and ships and everything that's coming out of the product side. And of course, our ability to communicate with you all, the public, driven directly by Pablo's department on comms, marketing, revenue, business development. And we've just formed some really great relationships. So it's been a phenomenal year. It's actually almost 1 year to the date that we really kicked things off with Star Atlas. And so not only was this a historic week for us because of the kind of the highlight of the week, which was the token generation event, but it's also historic for us because we just feel and are absorbing how much has been accomplished in truly such a short period of time. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the token generation event, we executed that across FTX as an IEO, across Radium through their accelerator program as a satellite IDO, and across Apollo X as a satellite IDO as well. We really tried to evolve the launchpad kind of concept in that program and partnership with Apollo X. We were working across chain. We were able to facilitate sales to people on Binance Smart Chain. We are looking forward to building bridges between alternative chains like Ethereum, like Binance, like Cosmos, like Terra, moving into the future, so that this becomes a platform that is truly accessible to all. So the TGE, for us was just kind of a tip of the cap that demonstrated just how much interest there truly is out there for this product, and people are really opening their hearts to us in terms of how much they care about this and how much it can change lives. So that felt really good. Again, we are right back to work right now, making sure that we can deliver some of the upcoming releases that we'll talk about shortly here, and respond to questions to on the call today. But a lot of you have been asking about gameplay footage. I want to make it perfectly clear here. We are still very early in terms of full production development. We actually just kicked off efforts in Unreal Engine 2, maybe 3 months ago. Danny, I see you out there. If you want to correct that timeline, please feel free to hop up. But we really just committed to work on the full production of the game just a couple of months ago. So we're not going to have full gameplay footage ready for you immediately. The approach that we're taking is really to deliver out these two concurrent products. Our immediate focus from the engineering standpoint is the development of this fully Serum integrated decentralized exchange marketplace, which is, for anyone that's out there in the audience that has purchased posters or is currently interacting with assets that they received through the poster campaign as a bonus asset, that is our decentralized exchange marketplace. That will also evolve into the mini game. And so, Pablo, we've announced this, right? If not, it's free alpha, but Galactic asset offering is coming up on the 7th, excuse me. And so Tuesday of next week, you will have the ability to purchase the initial supply, generation 1, of a variety of ship assets. And we are taking the approach of consecutive waves of assets. But I would clarify that don't expect everything to come out all at once. Everything is actually going to be revealed every couple of days through this sale campaign and through the Galactic asset offering itself. So we hope that as you're interacting with our marketplace and observing the release of new assets, you'll also have the opportunity to move into things like enrollment, the enrollment process, which will also open up on the 7th. And so through that same interface, you'll be able to register your account, view your profile, view leaderboards compartmentalized by the economic value of factions, the economic value of guilds, and the economic value of individuals. And there will be rankings behind all of those. You'll also be able to commit to your initial faction, right? And this is a permanent decision. So think long and hard about where you want to actually live within the metaverse. But faction selection comes online, and that is an entirely on-chain process. So there will be visibility into that for anybody who's has the desire to go out and conduct some blockchain analytics. But we'll also be providing data directly to you all. So as I mentioned, the Rebirth rewards went out. They were dropped yesterday. It seems to have gone off without a single flaw whatsoever. In the next couple of days, we're going to be activating full trade capabilities on every market. For right now, we're leaving the kind of the secondary sale component open only for those unique items that are going to be sold in the future. So that would include some of the exclusive skins or exclusive badges, or really anything that was exclusive within the Rebirth campaign. You're free to trade those. What we want to make sure, though, is that there is no price discovery taking place on the market for those assets that we're introducing, simply because we don't want you all to buy into something without understanding what price point we're going to be introducing it at. So it's incredibly important to us that we kind of help protect you, so that you're, I don't want to say not taken advantage of, but so you understand what the pricing model is going to look like before you start buying some of those other more, kind of unique and revenue generating assets, such as ships and such as land. So engineering's been doing a tremendous job. We spent several nights pretty much pulling all-nighters working with them. Hopefully we can give them a little bit of a break going into the end of the year, but their primary focus, as I said, is getting this game experience now delivered. So within 4 to 6 weeks, you should not only have the registration process for your profile complete, but you should be able to start participating in things like ship missions. So if you own a ship, you can actually deploy that on a mission, and depending on the result, whether it was successful or not, you'll be able to earn rewards, and those rewards will come in the form of NFTs, in crew member cards, in Atlas, and potentially in Polis as well. So the next couple of phases of that would include things like land development. So you'll actually be able to place your claim stakes, start placing mining equipment on that, operating that mining equipment, and again, generating commodities or that will allow you to monetize your time in the game. You can also convert those commodities through a refinement process where you'll actually be able to mint your own NFTs. And this will be based off of a schematic or blueprint of an asset that you actually want to create. So with all that said, I think it's very, very exciting time. We're excited to get the Galactic asset offering underway. So thrilled to have you all here in the audience with us today. And yeah, I mean, let me pause there, Pablo, and maybe we can jump in here with Gabby.
Yeah. Before we transition real quick, we had the Pierce X4 commercial come out.
Oh man!
Walk us through the first time that you watched that. I'm sure you watched it already a million times by now, but yeah, give us a little bit more insight, maybe behind the scenes there with Danny.
Well, so Danny and his team worked closely with Hydra for the production of our cinematic teaser trailer, and I am particularly fond of that. I think it's an amazing demonstration of what the future world inside Star Atlas is going to look like. I want to be open here. We've gotten a very minimal criticisms, but some criticisms from people that are, they're really looking for that gameplay footage. What we're really communicating to you all right now is the inspiration, right? I mean, the vision of what we're going to create. So again, I want to be clear, we do have an extended roadmap. This is going to take years to build, but we're also releasing features to you iteratively. But when Danny first showed us that, that Pierce X4 studio trailer, I was blown away. I thought that was actually a cinematic trailer, but that's actual in-game footage. And that is that's an example of an asset that you'll be able to own, possess, and navigate around the stars with. Right, so that's the style and that's the quality of the content that's going to be released on every asset that exists within Star Atlas. So that's just an idea of what you can look forward to. I love that it was in collaboration with, we got to participate again with Basejackers. So Marlon and the whole team at Basejackers, they've been really supportive of us. And again, defaulting back to the Rebirth campaign, if you guys participated in purchasing any of those, several of those posters, 3 of those posters actually had the Basejackers as the kind of audio soundscape associated with it. So it was mind blowing, man. It was mind blowing. It was so inspiring.
The community wants to know. The community wants to know how much is how much is it going to cost? I mean, because like BMW is making commercials like this. You know, you have Rolls-Royce jumping into the metaverse, and they're building commercial Unreal Engine 5. You know, how much is it going to cost? You know, for the everyday gamer, for everyone, for the PSX4, for that beauty. Can you tell us, or should we wait?
No, yeah, I can. But you know what I think would be more fun is I'm not sure if Mr. Star Savage or Santi have seen the pricing model, but Gabby, if you're there, have you seen the PSX4 Studio trailer by chance?
Yeah, I have seen it.
So, okay, man. I mean, you're an expert in the space. You've been, developing around blockchain gaming now for what, a couple of years. So, when you look at that asset, what would you expect to spend for something like that?
Well, I don't want to go into like specific prices, but yeah, like these things, you can say like if you're making something like really high production quality, like can't expect it to come cheap. Like I don't really want to go into like how much I think any asset will cost specifically.
That's understandable. I get the legal approach there, Gabby. But yeah, so I think what's really revealing here is the production quality of that asset, and it is actually the least expensive item that we're going to be releasing, and it's going to start at $15. So that's the amount of effort and energy that's going into every single asset that we release within Star Atlas.
Okay, so this is a beautiful, beautiful transition here, right? So we'll jump into the fireside chat from here. I mean, there you have it. We've had the community asking us, pricing the other ships. You have a little bit more of information there. So get ready, September 7th. I don't know what you're going to have to do, but tell the rest of the family in the house or the neighborhood to get off the Wi-Fi, so you're ready for this. All right. So now I'd like to introduce just a little short background on Gabby, and as we step into the fireside chat with Michael and Gabby here. The way that Michael and the rest of the team at Star Atlas is really looking at the future of Star Atlas impact on society at large is how we can optimize and define the way that metaverses or digital environments can have direct impact in the world that we live in. And as we continue to build out this virtual economy, really, who are going to be the players? What are going to be the different supply chains and verticals that are going to make up this environment? And then what are going to be the different components and the operations and the teams and the gamers that are going to realize this economy? And so what's very interesting when we look at the future of virtual economies is the proponent or the entities of guilds. We have seen a tremendous amount of cultivation and development of guilds inside of our Discord at Star Atlas. These are teams, in some cases, have a lot of experience in traditional games like EVE Online that are moving into Star Atlas. And also, people who are new, but they understand the power of community, of friendship, and wanting to be involved with something like Star Atlas as a collective, right? So there's a really, really interesting dynamic being developed here in the entire ecosystem of blockchain gaming, and at the center of this are guilds. So today we have Gabby Dison from the beautiful country of the Philippines. He's a co-founder of Yield Guild Games. Yield Guild Games invests in and works with people who play games like blockchain-based Axie Infinity to earn NFT rewards. Gabby truly is a huge believer that this is a way to bridge the wealth gap. As players in the Philippines, for example, can make at times 3x the local minimum wage through gaming. So welcome, Gabby, and to the Star Atlas Townhall. We would love to learn a little bit more about you, get to know you, and then also get to learn more about what you're doing at Yield Guild. So, first question to you, Gabby. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Yield Guild?
Sure. And first of all, thanks for having me here. Really, really pumped to be here. I've always like really admire the community and also like the beats coming out of Star Atlas. Okay, so I guess a short background about myself. So I come from 18 years of game development. So I've been making games since 2003. 2014 started a mobile game studio. 3 years later, discovered Ethereum and started looking at smart contracts. We were trying to see how smart contracts could potentially disrupt the game industry. And it was from there that CryptoKitties came out, then popularized the non-fungible token. And when I saw NFTs, it was like a holy shit moment. Like, this is what's going to change the game industry. If there are assets that are truly owned by the player that empower them, and then they can trade for value in the real world, and it's something that the developers can take away. So that was a really mind-blowing concept. And I've been in NFT since, yeah, basically since very early 2018. And there's been a lot of games that have come and go. I joined the Axie community in 2018, and what happened that led to the forming of Yield Guild was that last year during this time, there were a lot of people in the Philippines who were locked down, lost their jobs. They were at home, basically didn't have any form of income, and they found Axie as a way to basically earn money while they were stuck at home during the early lockdown. And then, as you said, uh, they realized quickly that they could earn a multiple of their former jobs, having access to economic opportunity in the metaverse via a game. And that was a really mind-blowing concept. And yeah, a lot of people just kind of dove in. And when that happened, I realized that it was something that you could do at scale. People were coming in, they couldn't afford the Axie, so I would either sell it to them really cheap, or I would lend people Axies. But if you had a guild that would do this for you at scale, then it provides an opportunity where you can help, thousands to eventually millions of people around the world. And that's where Yield Guild was born. We wanted to have a kind of a meta guild, or as we call it, a guild of guilds that would help different communities from around the world. So Yield Guild, or YGG itself, is not one guild. There are 19 Axie scholarships that work with us. We have guilds that want to be active in games such as, like Illuvium, Formula One Delta Time, Star Atlas, and a bunch of other games. So we empower communities. We invest in the metaverse assets. We lend them out for our players to play. We provide the community around it, the technology around it. We automate all of these, and yeah, think of ourselves as the onboarding for anyone into the metaverse. Like, no matter like what country you're from, doesn't matter what kind of race or age or background you have. And if you cannot afford the assets, you join our community. We'll provide the assets, and then you can go about finding what it is fulfills you or excites you to kind of work and play and earn money in the metaverse.
Thank you, Gabby. Michael, what do you have comments and thoughts about the future of guilds, and in particular Yield Guild games?
Of course, yeah. I mean, just real quickly here, though. I mean, Gabby, what you've done, man, it must have been such a crazy year for you as well, right? I mean, really, the uprising that's before us in this whole crypto gaming concept and blockchain gaming and whatever you want to call it, GameFi. I mean, you guys were true pioneers, right? And a year ago, think about the landscape. I mean, how different is the landscape today from when you started a year ago?
Yeah, yeah, very different. So last year, DeFi was hot, and NFT art just started breaking out. To give you a huge, like, to illustrate the difference between this year and last year. So Axie started getting really popular in August last year, and it moved from something like 1,000 to 5,000 users. And in January, it was at a mind-blowing 15,000 players. And now Axie is around like 1.3 million daily active users. So when we were really excited about Axie gaining kind of quote unquote mass popularity like last year, it actually just got to the point where there were 5,000 people playing it. And yeah, today it has really blown up. And my favorite part about it is that Axie has inspired not only a lot of other people to go in, start playing, the game and check out other games as well. But it's also inspired a lot of developers to come in and finally take NFT and play to earn seriously. I come from the game industry where there's a lot of skepticism towards new technology. And I've heard many different times where people in the game industry were saying that blockchain was a solution in search of a problem. But like the problem was there all along. Like people didn't have access to economic opportunities, and now we are building these games and virtual worlds where people can come in basically no matter where they are. I can go to space, I can find my job in space, I can have fun with a bunch of people from around the world, and I think that's just incredible.
100%. So I think that, I mean, clearly the numbers behind Axie are impressive, but you guys have seen your own explosive growth. Are you comfortable sharing with us how many people are in the YGG community now?
Sure. So there's a little over 50,000 people in the guild. Around 10% of that are Axie scholars. And right now we have invested in 11 games. So we're in Splinterlands, we're in the upcoming game Nifty Island, which is about to launch. We just partnered with Animoca on the next game they've released, Rev Racing, which is a successor to Formula One, Delta Time. And what we're seeing is that there's a lot of experiments on like how play to earn should work, and I really welcome that. I think Axie has a really good model with how AXS and SLP work, and you also have a two token system in Star Atlas. But I think like we've only really barely scratched the surface of how virtual economies that are connected to blockchain should work. So we're really coming out, finding the new games, backing them as early as we can, providing community support and a little bit of financial backing, and yeah, just trying to see like what the best games that come out that would benefit millions of people around the world.
50,000 people. That's pretty unreal. And I'm sure, are you openly accepting people in still? And also maybe you can elaborate a little bit, because as I understand the structure of YGG, it's kind of a guild of guilds. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, it's a pretty open process. So I think like you guys, like the simplest thing to do as a first step would be to go to the Discord server. So for us, it's just discord.gg/YGG. And then from there, there's the host of other things to do. Like, for example, there are 19 scholarship guilds or sub guilds where you can go apply to be a scholar. And then there are at least 30 games that the community is tracking. So YGG itself doesn't have to be invested in a game for our community to play it. So they play a whole bunch of different games. And if you go to our website at yieldguild.io, you can mint an NFT guild badge. So for free, you have to pay gas. And that guild badge NFT is your gateway to a lot of activities that will be coming later on. So there will be activities, and we call this our community mining program, where if you complete quests with our partner games, you'll be able to get the YGG token. So we've actually reserved 45% of our token supply to give out to the community this way for people to earn YGG tokens. So that's what we want for the members of the guild. We want our members of the guild to be owners of the guild itself without necessarily having to pay. So we want you to be an active contributor and not necessarily kind of an investor in the financial sense. It's more important for us to kind of contribute with your time and your effort and your skill building the community. And I know Star Atlas also thinks about it this way. I think you posted, Michael, that you're going to give out $3 billion worth of value to the community over time, right? And yeah, we think exactly the same way.
Let me just footnote that and say that it is entirely based off of the the treasury value that we possess today, that token allocation that is attributed to distributions over those 8 years. But yeah, and it's actually up to about 6 billion right now. So there is some volatility there, but we have a pretty sophisticated economic model on how we're going to balance out distributions and emission schedule based on the total economic value of the ecosystem. But maybe one final question before I circle back to Pablo's original question about our implementation of guilds or clans, or as we call them, decentralized autonomous corporations. But Gabby, it sounds like it's very inclusive what you're building. It's and yet open, right? So we have a lot of
Yep.
clans that have formed here at Star Atlas already. And I mean, we saw this clan formation or guild formation as early as February when we launched our Discord. So can you give us some idea of like, what are the benefits to being a part of YGG or being call it a sub guild within YGG, and how do, say, the economic benefits kind of transfer between you and other member participants?
Sure. So now, what we have working are different sub guilds in Axie. This is definitely something that we would want to expand to other games such as Star Atlas. So, for example, in Axie, we provide the assets, the Axies for the scholarship managers to use with their scholars. And how it works is that there are community managers that work with us to recruit and train these scholars from around the world, and they don't have to invest in the Axes themselves. We provide the Axes. We do the automation so that they're not spending half of their day clicking around MetaMask, creating accounts, and like sending SLP to people. All of that is automated on our end. And these managers, all they really have to do is recruit people, train them, like serve their community, and they're kind of empowered to do so by the assets, by the kind of infrastructure we have, by the automation. So there are 19 different sub guilds in Axie for us, and there's even a different team in the esports team that are playing that are not scholars. So the people who are playing in a competitive level that have their own Axies, they're also wearing the kind of YGG badge when they go out and play. So there's different ways to get involved, and I think when we figure out like how that could apply to Star Atlas, we would do that too. Like there could be multiple guilds in Star Atlas that are also part of Yield Guild. And the good thing about that, when we figure out how to do that, is that we will also be able to provide assets. We will be able to provide community mining. And as a sub guild of YGG, you'll actually have an allocation of our token later on, which you can use to kind of build out your community further. So those are some of the benefits.
Very, very cool, man. It's like you guys are kind of centralized operations, enabling this decentralized clan formation concept, right? And participation in these blockchain-based games. So very cool, man.
Yeah.
So everybody knows where to find you in Discord. I'm sure everybody can find you on Twitter as well. Let me just circle back a little bit to discuss what I guess I would call the importance of clans within Star Atlas. And, so as we continue to develop out the game concept and, for longer term time horizon, thinking about the metaverse overall, what we think is really going to be transformative is it kind of encompasses three separate pillars. And that's everything from economic design to direct user governance and kind of political participation, as well as social interaction and social experiences. And those are very, very broad kind of high level concepts, but I would say there's at least two areas of focus for the social element of this. And so forming a clan or being a member of a guild is going to benefit you in the sense that you actually are escaping or immersing yourself in this virtual environment. And we as humans all have kind of the requirement, the need to be socially interactive with one another. And so while it's entirely possible for you to act independently within the Star Atlas metaverse, we think that the best experiences and the most immersive experiences, as well as the most financially beneficial experiences, will take place through this concept of decentralized autonomous corporations. It allows you to participate across the spectrum, across the gamut of each one of those categories that I mentioned. And so not only will you be in a more fortifiable or a stronger position by being a member of a community within Star Atlas, keeping in mind that you're going to be competing against other people who have teams, right? You'll be in a better and stronger position, both economically and politically, but you're also going to be involved with the best social experiences that exist. So we're trying to cast a very wide net. We want to make sure that we're inclusive, and we encompass that in everything from our pricing model on assets, where we have assets that are priced low enough such that virtually everybody should be able to be involved and start playing and start earning and reinvesting in themselves and reinvesting in assets and growing their net worth, and also enhancing the playing experience itself. But at the end of the day, it's a question of, do you want to be isolated? Do you want to be flying around by yourself and navigating the stars, or do you want a team that has your back, that you can structure treasury management with? And I guess I would extend this out to say that within Star Atlas, I think that kind of generalization is probably just not the most efficient strategy. There's a reason why specialization across companies and positions and employment and crafting exists in reality, and it's because once you get good at something, you can get really, really good at something. And I think that this teamwork and participation with other people is going to lead to the most extensive and efficient systems that exist. So I'll just kind of get off the soapbox there, but I hope that kind of responded to the question.
Yeah. No, that's great, Michael. It's great, man. So we'll jump into Q&A with the community in less than 2 minutes. So if there are people who would like to, like for us, for Gabby, for Michael, for Santi to answer any of your questions, please let's start moving into position there. But before we do that, before we transition, I'd love to get Gabby's thoughts around one question. So Gabby, what would you want Yield Guild games to be remembered for?
Wow, huge question. I think we'd want to be remembered for providing the opportunity to bring millions of people to the metaverse. And yeah, honestly, what they do there is up to them. They may play one game, they may like build stuff, they may be artists, they may be space explorers, you might like be operating stations, but yeah, like bringing people around the world, especially those who come from a place where they have limited economic opportunity, and give them a chance to settle the metaverse and have basically a better economic future in front of them, because they were able to participate in kind of this new economic wave. I see the metaverse as like somewhat similar to settling America in probably like early 1700s, where it was a land of opportunity. It's almost like a blank slate, and the people who were there and made something for themselves. So a lot of people basically made life-changing wealth that passed down for generations, and opening that up to anyone around the world, not just, I would say, the educational elite, not just people in the Western Hemisphere, having that access, that is what YGG wants to be remembered for.
Well, man, I love it. Gabby, every time we get on a call together, we really jive. I love the philosophy, the ethos that you represent. It's so aligned with what we want to do, and people empowerment, right? And economic empowerment. And one of the things that I've talked about quite a bit is it's funny that you say about the America in the 1700s, because I've referred to Star Atlas as kind of a new America moment, right? And it's a land of opportunity that we can explore into, and it's not physical, it's digital, but it exists now. Like it's in the human psyche. It's real. Like in a way, the metaverse, this digital reality, is actually real. So I love that, man. We definitely see the transformative potential of eliminating geographic borders as a friction point for people's economic empowerment. So love that, man. I think this is going to lead to, immense opportunities for people globally. And we think in terms not of, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, but billions of users that can potentially take advantage of this new technology and kind of lift themselves out of otherwise poor situations just based on the genetic lottery of region of birth, things like that.
Yeah, and I think eventually there will be like dozens of guilds that are somewhat affiliated with YGG and Star Atlas. It won't be just one, because people want to play in small groups that they kind of really jive with. So yeah, I do think there will be many people who are part of Yield Guild that will be part of Star Atlas, and vice versa.
Well, I love it, man. Really appreciate you jumping on with us. Please stay on stage. I'm sure there's some questions out there for you as well. We are going to roll into this Q&A session right now. So I guess without further ado, do we want to pull someone up, Pablo?
Yeah, let's do it. Santi, do you want to help me select, or should I just go ahead and select?
Yeah, man.
Anyone?
I will take care of it.
Awesome.
No worries.
You're the man. All right.
Augur.
Hi, welcome.
Great first
All
question.
right. Yeah, that was good. I think what he was wanting to ask is, Michael, what do you do to let your hair down?
To let it down, I wash it, once a week. When I actually have time to jump in the shower. That's a joke, everyone out there in the audience.
Yeah, I know. I got it. All right, let's get the next participant.
Yeah, we have Bohemian here on stage. Welcome to stage,
Alrighty.
Bohemian.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you guys can hear me.
We can.
Yes, perfect. This is Bohemian representing Star Horizons Alliance. And I have a couple questions for you, Michael. By the way, awesome job. It's incredible what you guys are doing, and you guys are doing it so fast. I'm very impressed. First question is, on the marketplace, there's a total supply of spaceships. Is that number the total number of spaceships that are out there, or is the number that is going to be on sale during the GAO event?
Sure. Happy to respond to that. And just, quickly, I have to give so much credit to the talented team of people that we have working at Star Atlas. We are developing at a breakneck speed. It's really unbelievable, and kind of all the credit goes to the team for everything that's been accomplished, since inception. But with respect to the quantities that you're seeing on the marketplace right now, those are not indicative of the total supply that will be launched in the Galactic asset offering. We did actually make a post on Twitter today. We intended to restrict sales of certain assets, so specifically ship assets from the marketplace. It was enabled, but we'll be releasing quantities of assets going into the end of the year. So think in terms of generation, which is essentially a collection of finite supply assets that we're initially launching. So generation 1 assets are coming out with the Galactic asset offering. Again, not all at once. We're actually launching these over time, and more new items we'll be releasing for the remainder of the year. But in addition to that, we have a wave system. And so what I am comfortable sharing right now is that we've structured this such that it is a stepped-based bonding curve. So it's actually flat line, fixed price for a certain quantity, but then it steps up in price. So it does get a little bit more expensive as we get towards the end of the wave structure within a particular generation. But what we wanted to ensure was that we were providing some level of protection for people that are really, really anxious to get into Star Atlas, such that they don't purchase assets overpriced today when we know that we're going to be launching a greater supply of these assets in the very near future on September 7th. So we have restricted some of that access, but yeah, so I mean, to your question, you're not seeing the total supply. You'll see those supply figures as we go to market on the 7th.
So you cannot tell us how many of those $15 spaceships?
I can't give you the exact amount, but what I can tell you is that that ship in particular is one that we see as an entry-level ship, and as we do want to be very inclusive to everybody that wants to play Star Atlas, we want to ensure that there is sufficient quantity and supply so that everyone can get involved. Our general pricing model and rarity model is designed such that entry-level items, assets, whether that be land or ships or any equipment, those are all going to be the least rare items, and also, naturally going to have the highest quantity of supply. There are ships and items in the game that are extremely rare. There might be only one. There might be three. These are going to be the more expensive items. So that's our approach, is to ensure that we can include everyone, but also cater to those people that are willing and ready to spend a larger budget for assets within the game.
Correct. That's a great explanation. Thank you very much, Michael. And I'll stop here to give opportunity to the other ones. Thank you very much, Santi and Pablo. Back to you guys.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. Thanks for the questions. Always good to see you up here.
Awesome, Michael.
ZZ Cap.
We have ZZ Cab as well on stage. Welcome to the stage,
Hey.
man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I had a couple of questions. The first is about the structures. For it, do you need like a mining drill, power plant, claim stake, and a space station for each piece of land, or like are those I know the claim stake you need one of those for each piece of land, but I was wondering about for the other ones.
Yeah, we are still in kind of final refinement in our economic analysis on how exactly land is going to function. I don't want to share anything just yet, but I know there were a lot of concerns out there about the auction process on land, and I think that concept is very likely to be completely scrapped. What we're doing is taking a more proletarian approach, if you will, and enabling people to explore faster. And those early people that are participating in Star Atlas will actually have the opportunity to go and capture land and start to participate in productive and economic activity. But to your question, land is certainly only one component. Obviously, you will need various elements associated with an operation in order to produce any type of economic value. And so just out of that list, you will need the power plant, you will need the mine, you will need the mining drill. There might be a couple of components that I'm missing there, but what we're trying to do is kind of structure the economics such that the core component of production is what costs the most. Everything else is kind of ancillary to that. You can think of it in terms of a complete package, though necessary. The only thing on your list that you mentioned that isn't an absolute requirement is the orbital space station.
Okay, gotcha. And I'm guessing like those things aren't going to be like for the ship missions. Like we only need ships for those. I'm assuming.
Well,
like the most recent thing coming out. Sorry.
Yeah, you will need to outfit your ship with like crew members and components, but the way we're approaching the market initially is to ensure that when you're purchasing a ship, you get kind of a standard base model that includes all of the components that you need to operate. But of course, if you have a desire to specialize in a particular attribute, then you can replace crew members, or you can enhance shields or defenses or weaponry or things of that nature. So the way that it is designed, and this is really Danny and his team, is that based on the activity or specialization of that type of ship, you'll get all of the underlying components necessary to operate it, at least at a base level.
Okay, gotcha. And then my last question was, like I know, like the whole economy outside of like exploring space and mining and the inevitable warfare there, that like the economy side of things is probably going to end up being a big part of the game too. And I was wondering if like one of the first things on that front is going to be like importing avatars, like mine that I'm using is like a 3D avatar that you can like put into like Somnium space, and like they're trying to like work on like other ones and stuff like that. I was like curious, like are you guys interested or going to like whitelist like mine's like an alien, like are you going to whitelist like certain ones like you can import and play, like bring your own avatar and like play with like, okay, mine's an alien, so it can belong to like the alien faction? Like is that a thing you guys are considering at all?
It is something we're considering, although it's not our immediate focus. We really want to ensure that we can deliver the gaming and call it metaverse experience that has been envisioned by the team here. So, we are developing a product that, as we see most suitable, but in time and through the decentralization process of everything from the Star Atlas DAO and the Polis token to outside content creation and contribution to the metaverse, it will get a little more open over time. We've had some internal discussions around quality standards that we want to introduce, essentially a protocol of sorts, or really just a standard of assets that would allow those to be imported into Star Atlas. So I would just say, not in the immediate future, you're not going to be able to use your own personally owned or custom assets, but it is something that we're looking at for the longer term.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And you know, would love to get a question for Gabby as he's up here on stage. We have limited time with him, so I don't know how we want to handle that, but maybe tag me in the Townhall channel if you have a specific question for Gabby. But thank you, ZZ Cap. We do have Mega Raid Boss up here on stage.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me on stage. So I have a couple questions. One question that I have from one of my friends is with the claim stake and power station, when they're utilized, will that be a one-time use thing, or when you're done, tapping into resources, you can basically break it down and then use, when you explore another region?
Yeah, they're not consumable. What we're
Okay.
doing is, yeah, they're not consumable. I guess I'll just leave it at that. You can
Okay.
place it at a time, but if you need to move it at some other point in the future, you'll recapture that asset and can redeploy it.
Excellent. All right. And then next up, when can we expect to see the current brochure roster of the ships available for the G1 GAL and how, the specifics of the role functions, like how that works for them?
Well, we have a brochure.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. Let's take a vote. Should we just drop it? Is everybody ready to see this?
Yeah, ready.
Everybody's ready.
Drop it, man. Drop it. Yeah.
Guarantee you everybody's ready.
Let me just use this moment to shill our Discord. I know you're all here now, so that's great. But just this week there was a 30-second drop of that exact brochure that includes some information about all of the ships, about the various pricing, and this is really categorized by the ship class. And so we have a number of sizes of ships, and that's how we categorize them. And we revealed some information as a very, very sneak peek as to the internal pricing model behind those. What I would say though is when we roll to market with the Galactic asset offering, that's going to be more informative in terms of what the ship is capable of, its underlying attributes, what its class is, and just generally more information about the ship than what we have in the brochure. I'd mentioned we're moving very quickly here, and as such, we're essentially rolling everything out to you, the community, as soon as it's done. There's some internal testing that takes place, but for the most part, everybody's very anxious to start playing, and we're very anxious to get things out to you. And what I would comment there is, again, you all are essentially pre-alpha testing this concept with us as we go. So it's very important to point that out. But you'll have more information about ships and assets during the Galactic asset offering process, where you can be informed before making a purchasing decision.
Perfect. And then next up, so I heard that you mentioned there'll be a point where we can decide which faction we want to join. And once we make the decision, if we commit, it's permanent. So hypothetically speaking, let's say I love the AI Uster faction race, but then I say, okay, I want to be Mud. That's not going to be a problem, correct?
That's right. Yeah, you can select any race of people that you want to be and participate in any faction.
Cool. And then here's just kind of my imagination goes. So, say for example, I know the full technical details have not been, reached yet, but just in general, when say for example you have the Pierce C9, I see the Pierce C9, then you see Pierce X5s. Just in general, how in a battle could a certain amount of Pierce X5s literally take down a C9? Like, I'm just imagining, a group of Pierce X5s trying to attack, say for example, C9, like just how the vision is for that, where it's like there's no way, say for example, 20 or 30 Pierce X5s could take down a C9, just as a sample of a model.
Yeah, we're very committed to the analysis of things like economics and game balance. And so the idea is that absolutely enough smaller ships can take on and destroy a larger ship. Now, it's up to us to kind of determine what that value is to ensure that the game is balanced, that it's fair, and we're kind of assessing things like economic inputs and capital requirements to operate some of these items. But sure, if you had enough bees can kill a person if you walk into the hornet or into the bee's nest, right? So that's kind of the approach that we're taking.
And then from the Epic teaser trailer, when I heard about the a diamond the size of a planet, and that's basically the hunt for that. Is there a general idea of what type of requirements it would take, like say for example, a minimum requirement it would take to control, say for example, that sector, and how maybe the interaction would be with this diamond planet in a sense?
Right. So this kind of goes back to the discussion that we were having with Gabby and about the importance of guilds or clans within the game. It's very, very unlikely that any individual will have any type of dominance over a particular region of space. And that kind of, goes back to why being a participant within a greater system is going to be important. So as a high-level overview here, I'll just say that we do have the 3 factions in the game. A lot of you are probably familiar with that, but it's the Mud, which is like a human race, Oni, which is like a series of alien races, and the Ooster, which is a hybrid AI android type race or faction. And within each of those factions, or really throughout the entire universe, there's actually 3 different security zones. Now, each faction starts with a central space station, and you land in a neutral zone. So you're in a safe space. You can't be attacked by other players. You get an opportunity to learn the game. However, the economic rewards in that region are the lowest across the entire universe. You can explore into medium risk, where the rewards are better. You are susceptible to PvP and other player attacks, including your equipment being taken offline. However, there are non-permanent outcomes from any of those engagements, which is to say that you would actually respawn at the end of if you lost, and you would have to use Atlas to repair your ship or to refuel your ship, or otherwise get yourself fully functional again. So where the planet the size of a diamond lives is out in deep space. And this is kind of at the center of the entire, call it the entire universe, but realistically at the center of where the 3 factions are oriented. And
wait, don't tell them where it is. I'm just kidding.
You'll find
Michael,
out.
Yeah, don't point out. Yeah. Michael, one quick second. Gabby is going to step out because he has to go on to his next event. So I just wanted to give Gabby just a quick little second, man, for last words. Sorry to interrupt, Michael. Gabby, thank you so much for joining. We greatly appreciate you and your time and sharing space with us here today. Just to kind of like, if you could share with us your sentiment, what would you say to an up and coming guild, people who are starting with nothing, not even capital, but just a dream, and the dream to live out their digital future. Any sort of words of inspiration for an up and coming guild or player?
So I think the most important thing in play to earn and NFT space and in crypto in general is to come in and contribute to a community, especially if you're coming in and like you don't have money. What people are really asking for is for you to commit your time and energy and build with a certain community, and that could be with YDG, it could be with Star Atlas specifically, it could be with one of the guilds particularly. But yeah, that's people are really looking for someone who can really commit to the community and provide value to it. And I think actually that is more important than money. And if you do that, like eventually, like the opportunities and the money will come. And I've seen this firsthand being in the NFT space. Didn't have a lot of money to start with in 2018. And now I'm able to at least, buy NFTs and trade them personally and have YGG as well to provide assets for other people. So yeah, like just come in, dive in, and don't be afraid if you cannot afford things. What people want is really your contribution to a community, and the rest will come.
Man, that's so well said, Gabby. Always love chatting with you, man. Thank you so much for joining us today. again, everybody kind of knows where to find you. If there's any other final thoughts you want to share with respect to how to get a hold of people or participate in YGG, please feel free to share.
Sure. So in general, we want to see how YGG guilds can be more part of Star Atlas and vice versa. If you're a Star Atlas guild, want to be part of YGG. Now, we don't exactly know how this works, and we don't force this on anyone. This is a very, I would say, community-driven process. And how it work with, for example, us getting into games like Splinterlands or League of Kingdoms is that our community really just bugged us so much to kind of be involved in, I would say, an official capacity that we basically just had no choice but to do it because our community wanted it. And it's going to be the same for games like Star Atlas. If you're a Star Atlas guild and want to be part of YGG or vice versa, just come in and like make some noise about it, and we will do our best to find a way and support.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks so much for everything you do. Thanks for joining us. You really are enabling people and changing people's lives. So thanks so much, man. Look forward to
Thanks,
chatting.
guys. Always a pleasure.
Yep. Take care, man.
Hey, Gabby.
Bye.
All right, Michael, back to you, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, Pablo cut me off right before I was going to share the coordinates, the exact coordinates of the Diamond Planet. But suffice to say, it's going to be in the high risk zone. It's and within that high risk zone, we've introduced a model that we call Play for Keys, but it's ultimately a hardcore mode, and it is permanent death and destruction of any of your assets. So it's going to be extremely dangerous out there. Once again, pointing towards the importance of operating within a team of people within a guild. But yeah, I mean, the idea is that all of the highest returns, all of the is accompanied with the highest risk, right? So that's essentially the model.
Right. Yes. And because I was coming from the aspect, I'm with the great metaverse nomads guilds, Rome, where, I'm just trying to theory craft to understand, okay, if the goal is to try to, control this area, for example, is it like one of those things where you're going to need multiple commander ships or maybe some capital ships, just that type of sense, to know, okay, this is what you're really going to need if you want to get that type of control. Is there just a current general understanding of that part?
I guess the only strategic component that I would share is that it is open competition. And so,
Okay.
To the extent that there is someone else out there with greater economic resources or more powerful than you, then you are at a disadvantage. But otherwise, it's pretty much open chess out in the free range.
Right. Thank you. My very last question, thank you for taking these questions, is how will guilds coordinate faction selection?
Well, currently that is going to need to be done in a more traditional, centralized fashion. I would imagine you have your own communities and own places where you communicate, and it's going to be important for you to be able to kind of share that information with people before they join into the game. We might work on systems wherein you can actually select your guild before you select a faction. That's not going to be immediately available, but yeah, I would recommend that you communicate with the rest of your guild in advance. And then, the other component of that is that there are faction passports that will allow for economic activity between factions. It might not be a terrible thing for you to actually occupy separate factions, even as a clan.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's all I have. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, right on, man. Thank you for the questions. Let's take one more. We have Rand Corp up here, so let's jump into it. But Mega Raid Boss, love it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Rand Corp is potentially AFK, or we cannot hear you.
Yeah, I'm letting someone else in.
I see
We
he
can't
or
hear
she
Rand
is trying. Mic's going off and
Yeah.
on. Rand Corp, maybe drop out of the channel, rejoin, and we can still take your question.
Okay, I invited Boombara to the stage. Please join. Oh, nice profile pic. Is that a Visu Sopod? Nice. We can hear him as well.
Hey guys.
Okay.
I was trying to find which was my push to talk button here. Sorry. So Thanks for having me on this stage. I have a few questions. So the first one, like for the human race, is that going to start on planet Earth, or is just going to start, the central area is going to be a fictional planet?
Right. So everybody's going to start at a central space station related to the faction that they select.
Not necessarily like close to planet Earth.
That part not going to reveal at the moment.
Oh, okay. Another question, like with I see the Tigu pet. So are there plans to have other pets as well released?
We definitely see the potential in pets being created in the future, as well as the potential for some cross-project collaboration with the pet concept itself. At the end of the day, pets give people kind of a deeper immersion into the game. Relatability, right? And so yes, there will be more pets going into the future.
All right, that's great. That partially answers my question. Like I was going to say, inspired on Axie Infinity, if we'll be able to breed pets and maybe open a pet store.
I would not be surprised if that becomes a feature that you see in the future.
All right, that sounds great. And another question I had, will we be able to order pizza from our ship and be delivered to the house?
Man, you'll be able to order weed and pizza from the metaverse and have it delivered to your house.
Now we're talking. Swagner. All right.
Yeah, man, I hope that helps. I mean, we do think that the metaverse is going to be very, very disruptive to the traditional e-commerce model. I can think of no better experience than to evolve from a two-dimensional interaction with a website to a three-dimensional immersive interaction with the shopping experience. On that note, it might be prudent to short all of the big box retailers, because the experience that we're going to bring is kind of a combination of web shopping and e-commerce with the physical kind of interaction with an object that you can order directly to your house. That's where we're going.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for the answers. I guess I'll have to empty some of my crypto bags and invest more heavily into the game.
Well, as always, make prudent and responsible financial decisions, but super happy to have you in the game and in the metaverse. Thanks for the questions, Bumbada.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Take care, man.
All right. Well, we have a challenge. We have a challenge going on Twitter. 1,000 retweets gets you instant gratification, first-hand look at the GAO brochure.
Wow. Nice.
So head over to Twitter, Star Atlas, and hit that retweet button.
I mean, we have 707 here now. We were up to what, 760? So
hey, well, there's already 200 retweets going on right now, so we're not that far off.
You know what? Just because I'm generous, I'm going to go retweet it myself.
All right, hit that button. Are we going to have one more, or should we jump into our Pierce X4s and head to dinner?
Yeah, I think it is. It's getting on a Friday, maybe Saturday for some of you. So once again, we sincerely appreciate the community out there. It's been really positive feedback overall. We love seeing the growth and the participation. We host these town halls most every week, and so we want to be very open, transparent, and inclusive of your opinions into the development of this game. And to this concept. So really appreciate you all being out here, all of your support. Welcome to all of the new members, and welcome to Star Atlas.
And power to the people, man.
And stick it to the man. All right. Well, with that, signing off. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night and a great weekend, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Put that volume up, Star Savage.